Good morning. Welcome. You're going to see some steam going here. I'm going to put that lid on in a second. I'll give it just a second. I may be just a minute or so early. So thank you for joining me. Mary is, Chuck took her to see Carla today. Y'all remember she went up there the other day, and she just wanted to go back, run up there real quick to check on her. So I told her I was fine by myself. So everyone, please keep remembering Carla in your prayers. She's still not feeling well. So we're going to jump right in here. And again, I want to say welcome to everyone. We're making barbecue chicken and barbecue sauce today. And if you want to use chicken thighs or cut up a whole chicken and use it, you can. Probably our entire audience has made barbecue chicken before, but I'm doing this a little different today. I'm going to do that I put on the membership page for our members. So I'm going to start with this first. So I've got my quick cooker on sear. And just a little FYI, and I'm gonna be out of the way of the camera some, but I'm Linda with Pinky Mall's Cakes, Cookies, and Candy, also known as Pinky Mall's Sisters in the Kitchen. And for those that just jumped on late, our own time, because I was early, Mary is at Carla's this morning checking on her. So if you want your quick cooker, now I'm speaking of Pampered Chef brand. I don't know about the other brands. But if you want it to come to steam faster, start it on the sear. And that's going to get it hot, and it'll make it steam, go into pressure mode a lot quicker. So it's preset for 21 minutes, and I have had this on for 6 minutes. You can tell that it's boiling. So I am fixing my chicken breast a little different than the others. I've got some red pepper flakes in here. Where are my red pepper flakes? I've got some red pepper flakes in low sodium chicken broth, probably about maybe a cup of chicken broth. And I'm going to put some seasonings in it. I cut off just a small piece of jalapeno, and I didn't even chop it. I just want to give it some flavor because it's got to have some flavor, right? So I'm going to throw that in there. And I got one chicken breast here, and this will be 2 meals for me probably, or more. And I'm going to season this with, I'll back it up just a second so you can see me season it. I'm going to season it with some salt and pepper. And I'm not going to put a whole lot of salt on it. Of course, I'll put a whole lot of pepper on it. I'm going to use a little bit of celery seed. Gives it a real good flavor. Now I'm using some of this same thing over there on my other. Some cayenne, and again, just give it a sprinkle. I'm using a little bit of garlic powder, and I didn't have onion salt, but I do have some onion, some chopped onion in this broth that I have cooking. Now I'm using for this, because it's less sugar, I'm going to use the store-bought barbecue sauce versus the one that I'm making for the other. And this is Salt Lick. It's kind of the same flavor profile as what I'm making. It is honey pecan, but it's got a lot less sugar than what this is going to have over there. So I'm just going to put my chicken in there. And we are sponsored by Imperial Sugar, and that's what I'm using over there in the other Imperial light brown sugar. I'm going to set that out of the way. So I'm going to turn my chicken breast over, because I want it salted on both sides. And of course I'm going to give it that cayenne, because I love cayenne. That's one of my go-to seasonings. And if you've never used celery seed, this is really good if you happen not to have celery in your refrigerator, because you know it always goes bad when you want it and you think you've got some and then it's no good. That this is real good to keep in your pantry. It's it gives it the celery flavor, and it just kind of gives it like a little elevated flavor. So I use this, and then let me put a little bit more salt and pepper on here. I never under pepper anything. I always make sure I've got enough pepper. And then I'm just going to put this in here. And I'm going to add probably about maybe a third a cup of this. I don't want too much in it, but I want it to have the barbecue flavor. And I'm also going to put some liquid smoke in it. So I'm not measuring this. I'm just going to add about a third of a cup. Because barbecue chicken wouldn't be barbecue unless it had some barbecue in it. And I've got my liquid smoke right here for the other, and I'll get the container out in a minute. I'm just going to put a little bit in here, probably about maybe a half a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. That might not be quite enough. Maybe about a teaspoon. And I'll show y'all what that looks like. If you've never used hickory smoke, liquid smoke, I know a lot of people don't like this stuff, but it really is good. It has a great flavor. So that's what the liquid smoke is. And I'm going to just let this kind of hang out for a minute or two. And then I'm going to put the lid on it. That looks really, really good. It's going to have lots of flavor, and it's going to be a little bit healthier than what I'm doing over here. So I'm going to move the camera over to the stove, and I'm going to get this barbecue sauce started. As soon as that stops, and I'm going to put it on the, pressure mode. I'll get this right in a second, y'all. So I've got my burner on, and these boilers are thin, so are thinner than the other boilers that we have, so it doesn't take long to heat it up. Now you're going to see that I'm doing I hate having my face right in that camera. You're going to see that I'm doing a little bit different measurements than what's on our page, and I will tell you what the measurements are, but they're going to be a little different than what I'm putting in here. We always have an extra thing of ketchup, but for some reason we didn't, and I forgot to check the pantry, so I don't have 2 cups of ketchup, so I'm just going to kind of improvise. So I cut down on the sugar, and I cut down on the liquid smoke, and let's see, I guess the other ingredients I'm cutting down just a little bit. I'm going to do 2 big chicken breasts, and I kind of butterfly them and cut them in half, and I'm going to cook them in our stone baker. And I've got the oven on 350, so let's get this started here. I have the recipe is 2 cups of ketchup. You can use any ketchup you want. If you make your homemade, you can use your homemade. So I'm going to get this in here. This is just about a cup. But the recipe on the page is 2 cups. If you're making a lot for for a family, you need the full recipe. It's just the 2 of us, so it didn't matter that I didn't have the 2 cups of ketchup. And I'll have to put that on my grocery list to get next time I go out. Now, I rinsed this out with chicken broth, low sodium chicken broth, and I've already thrown the can away, just so I would get all the ketchup out of here. So I'm going to pour this in here. Well, actually, let's put our sugar in first. The recipe called for 1 packed cup of light brown sugar. I'm using about a half a cup because I don't have as much ketchup. So I'm going to pour this over my brown sugar. I have 2 teaspoons of regular mustard. Make sure I get it all out of there. Mustard is something else that enhances the flavor. And this is liquid smoke. And I don't know if I'm going to use all of this or not. Mike is kind of funny about taste, and he might not like it if I put all that in there. But it calls for 6 tablespoons. This is pecan roasted pecan syrup. One of our sweet followers sent this to us. It's from Priesters. And I want it to kind of have that pecan flavor to it. So I'm putting 2 teaspoons of the roasted pecan syrup. If you don't have this syrup, you can use maple syrup. I think maple would be what I would use if I didn't have the roasted pecan. So I'm going to add this in here. And again, I know this is a little bit more sugar than what some of you might want. But you can cut down on any of this if you want to. Now these pans here, you can't use metal utensils in them, so I've got this silicone whisk, and I'm just going to kind of whisk this together. It smells good already. And I've got about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of finely minced onion that is going to go in here. And I'm going to put just a little bit of salt and pepper just to cut down on that tomato paste. I don't want much in here, just a little. We're going to be salting and seasoning the chicken too, but I do want a little bit in here. Now you're going to want to bring this up to kind of a simmer, and then just let it hang out and simmer for a little bit. I'm going to check I got 5 more minutes over here, but I think I'm going to stop this and go ahead and start it on the pressure mode, because the reason that I do this like this is just so it will bring it up to pressure faster. You can see that it's boiling really good. Okay, so I'm going to just cancel this, and then I'm going to, the chicken is preset for 15 minutes. It probably will be done in 15 minutes, but I'm going to do the custom, and I'm going to set it on probably 20, just to make sure. So you just turn the dial. You can't go backwards, so you have to turn it to custom, and then punch it, and then you can adjust your time. And I'm going to set it for, let's see, 22 minutes. But first of all, I need to put the lid on. I guess that would be the proper thing to do. Okay, got my lid on, and I'm just going to push this in. I've got a mess here. And then when this starts, when it comes up to steam, this run's going to go off, and your 22 minutes is going to start the countdown. So that's how we're just going to leave that alone for now, let it do its thing. And I wanted to have something to show y'all, because it will take this about an hour to cook in the oven. So I've got this boiling pretty nice here. And I guess while that's doing its thing, I can season my chicken. So I'll move that. So we're going to use the same seasonings as we did on the other chicken over there that I cooked, that I'm cooking in the quick cooker. Okay, I'm going to get my tongs, and I don't want to touch this with my hands, but let me grab my tongs here. I'm really excited this morning. We've been planning a trip to Mississippi and trying to get the old group together. I'm a nostalgic person. I treasure my friends, both young and old and new. I'm just a person that, friendship to me is something that is very deep-seated, and it's not, hi, how you doing? If somebody calls me at midnight and needs something and I can possibly do it, I'm going to do it, because I treasure friends. And I tell people all the time, and I have said this for years, it costs to be a friend. And it's not always money. It costs your time. It costs your emotions. You invest in them, and it's just something that stays with you if you are a true friend. It stays with you, and it also stays with that other person throughout their lifetime. So I've been thinking about my friends that I didn't grow up with them, because I was a grown person. Well, I was 17 when we moved to Mississippi that summer. So most of my friends in Mississippi are much younger than I am. Paula is probably the closest in age, and Paula and Pam and I sang in a trio for years in our church. And we were so synced and so in tune, because we all loved music, and we loved to sing together, and we put our heart and soul in it. So we are, what my plan is, and I'm creating the group today for the old J&T folks, Jesus Name Tabernacle. So if any of y'all are watching, Scotty, if any of y'all are watching, you're going to get an invite to this group. I've already cleared it with Pastor Smith, and we have the date locked in. So what our plan is for Mary and I to go up there and spend a few days in Mississippi. And of course we'll be seeing our brother and his family, Edward and Debbie, and their kids and grandkids, and we're looking forward to that too. I guess I could go ahead and be salting this while I'm talking. So Scotty and I were talking back, I don't know, a few weeks ago about this. Paula and I have talked about it, and we just decided that now was the time to do it. Life is short. You never know when somebody in a picture that was taken even last year is not going to be here. And that picture that I posted a while back on my personal page, 2 of those people are already went to meet their maker and gone to be with the Lord. And so it's something that I don't take lightly. So Mary and I have been talking about it, and so we decided we were just going to get a date together and see what worked for everybody, for the church and for, for all my friends and everything. So we have a date locked in. So what our plan is to go up there and spend a few days, relax, and enjoy visiting with people, enjoy visiting with our family, and then going to the church on a Saturday afternoon, and all of our old group being together, or as many as can be there. And we're going to sing, we're going to talk, we're going to tell some funny stories, we're going to probably tell some sad stories, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I was talking to Mary yesterday, and I'm like, there's just so much history that I have there that was a part of my story. And it's going to be fun to do this, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. So all of you Jesus Name Tabernacle people, y'all don't let me down now. We're gonna be going old school. We're not gonna do all this newfangled stuff. We're gonna be singing some old Dottie Rambo songs, and we're going to be singing some old hymns and some old courses that we sang many years ago, before there was a choral, or before everything was so, I don't know what the right word is. I want to say organized, but it's more, things are different now than it was back in the 60s and 70s. Let me check my sauce again. It's looking really, really good. And it smells really good. Looks like there's a big piece of onion in there I need to get out. Out of here, because I don't want to pick up a piece of onion that is too big to chew. So get that out of there. That's the dryer. Mike decided he wanted to put on clothes to wash and dry this morning, and it was too hot not to have that door open, so I just left it open. Okay, let's season the other side of this, and and there may be a few of our followers that might want to show up and watch us in person. We're, we usually do have some people that come when we're there and meet us either to eat or, to either fellowship or something like that. And, you know, we're not real sure what all yet, but it might even be that we're in the youth center, and that was the old term. It's a fellowship hall now. Everything's got fancy names to it. But maybe go down there and have either some snacks or whatever they decide on. I told them I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to create a lot of trouble for anybody. But, you know, people like to eat and they like to snack and they like to visit. And that would give us another platform to visit on besides just in the sanctuary. Okay, so cayenne, salt, pepper, garlic powder. These are going to be seasoned really good. Some celery salt. And a few more of these crushed pepper flakes. Okay, so we got this ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the baker here. And I'm just going to lay my... This is actually 2 breasts. They're boneless breasts, but they were really big, so I butterflied them and cut them in half. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I need to clean out my salt and pepper box and put some new in there. I'm always afraid that I'm going to touch something and contaminate something, so that might be something to do another day. You could put a little bit of juice in here in this baker, and I think I may do that because I don't want this barbecue sauce to burn, so I think I'm going to grab another can of low sodium chicken broth over there and open it and just pour a little bit in here. You're really, with this barbecue sauce, it's not, there's another piece of onion. It's not, of course you got to cook the onions, and I didn't saute them, and I didn't on purpose because I didn't want any oil in this. I just wanted it to be barbecue sauce. But you just want to saute this long enough or simmer it long enough for it to kind of come together and for the seasonings and everything to be really good. And whoo, that's splattering everywhere. I didn't realize I had turned that. Goodness, it's getting all over the place. I don't like that at all. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. Okay, I've turned this down on low, so hopefully that's not going to do that. And y'all, I'm going to be away from the camera for just 1 second and grab a can of broth. So you'll see this is just Kroger brand chicken broth. It is low sodium. We try to buy that when we can because it just cuts down a little bit. And I know I seasoned the chicken really good, but I still like to cut down when I can. So I'm just going to open this real quick. And I'm not going to measure this, but I'm going to pour probably maybe 1/3 a can in here. Maybe a little more than 1/3 a can. I want a little bit of liquid in there besides that barbecue sauce because it's got, it's got all that sugar in it. So my chicken over here in the quick cooker has got 13 more minutes. So we're going to just I think we can probably go ahead and put this in here. Now, you know, cooks usually taste of what they make, and I could taste of this, but I'm not. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in here, and hopefully you can see this without me being in the way. So you can see it's kind of thick, and I'm just going to make sure it gets all over the chicken, and it's going to cook down. I'm going to put it all in here. This is actually enough barbecue sauce probably for 6 chicken breasts, but I don't want to put it up, so I'm just going to put it all in here. I think I've got about all of that out of there. Okay. I can't hardly stand not to wipe that stove off. It's just driving me nuts, but I'm going to leave it because I'm going to move the camera back over to the counter, and that's 4 really nice servings of barbecue chicken. So we're going to pop it in the oven. And this is going to need to take probably close to an hour to cook. So I'm going to set the timer on an hour. And it won't be done before we get through with our program. I just got to wipe this off. This is driving me crazy. Cannot stand a dirty stove. You know, as many times as you take your stove apart and clean it, it's just, you just don't like something to get on it and get messed up. So, only takes a second. Mom always said, clean as you go. And I know that's not something you necessarily do on a live program, but I just had to do that. So, okay, I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to get over here and sit down a few minutes. And we got everything off over there. Yep. Let me see if I can get this closer. I don't know if I can read comments from this close or this far or not, but I'm going to try to. Okay, so we got this cooking. We got that cooking in the oven. I got the timer set. It's on 350, and it's set for 60 minutes. Now, it should be done, but if for some reason it's not, you know, just cook it a little bit longer. And when you're cooking, I know a lot of people do this, but when you've got your oven on, you're spending money. That's a what, 240 volts, so that's burning some electricity. Cook enough for more than one meal, you know. It's nothing to let something cool and put it in the refrigerator, and then you've got your dinner or supper or whatever cooked for the next day. So don't just use the oven for one meal. If you possibly can, do what they call today, you know, each generation's always got a special name for stuff, and I'm old school, but you know, I think they call it power cooking today. I'm not sure, but I think that's what they call it. So cook for more than one meal. The same thing if you get a big thing of hamburger, and you either break it up and fix it in little patties, or fix it in little 4 or 8 ounce, whatever your size your family is. We do 4 ounces. You can cook it. You can cook half of the package and put the other up, and then you've got meals for tacos, lasagna, spaghetti, whatever you're cooking. I gotta grab a bottle of water. Excuse me. So, you know, it's basically, if you're fixing hamburger and you're fixing it with salt and pepper and seasonings and onions or whatever you put in it, you can break that down and have it for several different things, and it saves time then in the evening, especially those of you who still work or have kiddos at home that you're helping with schoolwork or grandkids. A lot of people in Texas raise their grandkids, and these are time savers that you could already have something done, so the next day all you've got to do is put the rest of the ingredients together for your meal. So I think that's smart for people that are really busy and on the go. Thank you all so much for everybody that gives us stars. It's something that we very seldom ever mention, and it's certainly not that we're ungrateful. It's just something that just slips by us, and it's just, sometimes I feel like I don't thank y'all enough for what y'all do for Mary and I. And we do have a package. We were going to show it today, and then Mary decided to go see Carla, which she needed to do that. But we will show it next week. So the sweet lady that sent us that package. We have not ignored you. I just wanted to show it when we're together. So we'll be showing y'all that next week. And let's see, today is what, the 21st? Is today the 21st? I think it is. Unless it's, I think it's the 21st. I hate to say I don't know what day it is on the calendar. But we have more rain coming in tomorrow and the next day. And I think there's supposed to be some weather come through. I'm not sure if it's for here or if it's going to bypass or not. But I know there's parts of the country that's going to have some little bouts of bad weather. So wherever y'all are at, I hope that y'all stay safe. And let me check and see how much time I've got left. I can smell it cooking. I hope it's done. It's usually done. I can usually cook a chicken breast in 18 minutes on here, and I think it probably will be. Today's the 22nd. Well, thank you. Let's see who said that. I lose count of the days. Connie. Thank you, Connie. Okay, let's see. What else were we going to talk about? I want to sing some. I haven't had a chance to do that and play in a while, but hopefully in not too near future, I'll be able to do that. I've had songs on my heart for so long. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had an old Rusty Goodman song. I think Rusty Goodman's the one that wrote it with the Happy Goodmans. And I'm not even sure of the name of it, but I know some of y'all will know it. This old house that I'm living in needs repair. The windows and the shutters are letting in the cold, cold air. I love that song. I think it is so beautiful. And then for the last 2 nights, I've had another one of Dottie Rambo's songs on my mind. I go to sleep singing it to myself. Tears will never stain the streets of that city. I'm hoping that's going to be one of the ones that we can sing. If we're all 3 there, Paula, I'm really praying you get to be there. Paula has a gorgeous voice. She has a lot of people of our old friends, they call her Songbird because she has such a beautiful tenor voice. And Pam Douglas Smith, she's our alto, and of course we all switch parts. We could all 3 of us could switch parts. I don't know if Pam can sing tenor or not, but we used to do that all the time. We'd switch parts, and one of us would take the lead, and the other one would take the lead. But she has both of them have a beautiful voice, and so I'm really excited about that. It's a few weeks out, but it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, not to be repeating myself, but when I'm excited about something, that's not hard for me to do. I mean, because I do repeat myself when I'm excited about something. But Tears Will Never Stain the Streets of That City is one that we used to sing a lot. Stand by the River, I think Dottie and Dolly Parton sang that one time, and then of course Dottie Rambo and her family sang that for years. There's just been all these songs going over and over in my mind. New song to sing, that was one of the ones that they sang. And yesterday at Mary's, when I walked in, she had the old songs playing, what we call the old songs from the 60s. And, you know, people before our generation, they would call them the new songs, but to us, they're the old songs. But there was a song that I had thought about the other day that Dottie Rambo wrote, and I think she wrote it. Sometimes I say something and I'm not sure because I don't check. But that song came on, and it's Who's Going to Teach My Children's Children, Who's Going to Teach My Little Grandchild. And that was not a real one of her hits. It wasn't one of Dottie Rambo's hits, but it was always a song that hit so close to my heart, because I'm a firm believer if we don't teach the generations under us about values, about cooking, about how important family, how important friends are, who is going to teach them? It's our responsibility. And no, I don't have any children, but it's our responsibility to instill in them and to instill in their hearts the importance of keeping families together and keeping friends together and staying in touch. And I just, that song was just on my mind the other day. So, oh my goodness, there are so many songs that we used to sing that I'll have to get a list together, and we're not going to be the only ones to sing. Scotty, Gordon, him and Donald, and they've lost 2 of their brothers, so they're no longer with us. But they were little kids, little boys when I was there. Pam Douglas Smith, she was 5 years old when I first met her. So I've known her almost her entire life. And of course, some of the others, Paula and Crystal, I don't know if Crystal will be there or not, but they were a little bit younger than me, but not as old. I was the oldest one. I was the oldest one there. But I was young at heart. That's what counts, right? And of course, then I was young compared to what I am now. Okay, my buzzer's going off here, so I'm going to have to, well, it needs to let the steam go down a little bit before I open it up. So if y'all will bear with me, I'm going to let that set just a little bit. Now, what this does here, you'll see that it's finished. Now it's going to go into warming mode. So it's where it says keep warm, and your minutes will start counting on here, and it will stay warm indefinitely. And if you can't actually open this because it's not quite safe to open it yet. You can let the steam out, but if you let it set for a little while, it's going to stay warm. And then whenever you get ready to open it, it opens a lot easier because because some of the steam has. It's like it's manually released its steam. I guess that's a good way to put it. So, let's see, who else sings? Suzette and Sister Peggy, which is the pastor's wife now. It's hard to say you call her First Lady because I knew her when she was like 4 years old, but out of respect, of course, I will. But those kids were little. Chauncey was little. I've known Chauncey since he was born. In fact, when he was like 30 minutes old, Sister Jean brought him out to our house. So I've known him all of his life. And I certainly cannot leave Kathy Skeen out. Kathy is, a lot of y'all have seen her. She was a flower girl at Mary's wedding. So I've known her since she was a little bitty girl. And Diane Gordon, she's another one of the Gordon. She married one of the Gordon boys, and he passed away a few years ago. But I fixed Diane's hair for her wedding, and she's also younger than I am. Carol and Tim Cooper, we've known them. I think Carol was a teenager. I may be wrong, but I think she was a teenager when she came to Jackson, and she had some relatives there. And then Tim Cooper, we've known him. I'm pretty sure that I'm right saying we've known him since he was a toddler, a pretty small boy. Now, I don't know Dexter and Leah. I forgot them. They were young people. Well, Leah didn't grow up in that church. She was in Brother Holland's church in Natchez, Mississippi. But we knew her through the Hollands and through the Parkers. She was Parker. So we've known them for many, many years too. And I'm trying to think if there are any others. Sister Pat, which is Pam's mother, known her for many, many years. Is there anybody else that I'm leaving out? Of course, all the Gordon's wives, Diane's daughter and her husband, known her all of her life. I know this probably doesn't mean anything to y'all, and I'm kind of reminiscing in my head this morning, but hope that y'all will bear with me while I do that. And I am going to be working on April recipes soon. These months go by so quickly that we think we're ahead because we've got the months done, and then all of a sudden it's getting toward the end of the month, and it's time to get the recipes ready for April. So it's kind of funny because I had someone contact me this week that asked me, would I do a wedding cake in for her daughter, who's, you know, they're from Jefferson, and she was getting married in May. And I told her no, that I was just too busy, and then I got to thinking about it, and I thought I should really do that cake for her. And then when I looked at the calendar, I realized that the weekend that she's getting married, that we are already booked that weekend, and we're going to be busy. So I was going to do the cake, but then I had to let her know that I couldn't do it. And I miss doing that. I miss baking so much, and it is a lot of work. It is not something that you can put together in a day. Wedding cake takes days to prepare for, to get the supplies and to make, and then delivering it is a whole nother story. Even though it's only 4 miles to town, you're delivering a 3-tiered wedding cake, and it's very nerve-wracking. Well, believe me, we've delivered a few over there, and we've delivered a few a lot further in Jefferson too. But I just I hated not to do it, but anyway, I had to tell her I couldn't. So I'm going to, I don't normally let the steam out over a cabinet. I usually let it out over there on the stove where I can turn the vent on. But I think I'm going to just do it anyway and let it out here. I'm going to move this camera back again. Oh, you can see that it's been warming now for 5 minutes. That tells you how long it's been warming. So here's your steam button right here, the little waves like that. I think move this over just a pinch. You have to kind of get it started. I'll jump when it starts. I always do. Well, it's playing tricks on me now. It should have already steamed out. Okay, let's stop it. Now let's see if it will steam out. I told you I'd do it every time. It never fails when that steam comes out that I jump. You have to make sure it's all out. You don't want that steam to come up your face. You can burn yourself. Okay, see it come open real easy because the steam was out. It's kind of a safety feature. If that steam is still in there, you have to rock it to get it open. And I've done that before because you can, you're basically kind of forcing it. But it's best if you let it sit for just a few minutes. So, woo. Okay, let's set this over here. And I'm going to get a fork. And I'm going to see if this is done. Doesn't that look beautiful? It smells really good. See how easy it just come apart there? And I'm going to pour this sauce over it and let it sit. And this is my supper. You'll see the jalapenos in there. It's a really, really rich broth. I'm going to get this unplugged and just push that out of the way. It sure seems like I've made a mess this morning. here is my supper. Doesn't that look good? So it doesn't take a long time to prepare a meal. You just have to, do a little planning. You want to make sure to check your pantry and not do like I did and didn't check to see if I had any extra ketchup. So you want to make sure you got your ingredients first of all. Used to when we were, when we were kids and you were, getting excited about Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, the first thing you did was make a menu. And of course we didn't do it, Mama did it. But you make a menu. And then the second thing you do is you check for your ingredients, see what you've got. And if you're on a limited budget, make your menu around things that you have. Maybe you've got canned goods that you've canned during the summer, or you bought some extra meat and put it in the freezer. Maybe you got something on sale. We have a mom and pop store about 30 miles from here, and I don't go up there often because I don't have freezer space. But like this week, they have a 20-pound box of frozen boneless chicken breasts. They're in 10-pound bags in the box, and it's $49.99, which is, what is that, $2.50 a pound for a chicken breast. And that is an excellent buy, and they run sales like that all the time. So if you are fortunate enough to be in a place where there's sales like that and you have a space to put it, then that's the time to stock up on stuff. And the same thing with canned vegetables, things that, that if you're not going to make your sauces from scratch, which you can get the ingredients to do that, but always have some on hand for spur of the moment meals. Something when you maybe don't have enough time to make something from scratch, have something ready that you could put together in, in 30 minutes or less. When you have a bunch of hungry kids or a hungry spouse, and sometimes you don't have 2 hours to prepare a meal, or you don't maybe not even have an hour. So keep that in mind when you're grocery shopping, when you're checking the ads. Check the ads, because you never know what's going to be on sale that week. And if you have to go to more than one grocery store, if you have more than one grocery store in your area, and a lot of places don't, and I realize that, dollar stores have great buys on stuff a lot of times. Aldi's, some of the discount stores, and if you have the time to do it, the time to shop, well, make your grocery list and go and get the sale items from each place, and that helps you tremendously with your grocery budget. And I have enjoyed being with y'all this morning. I hope that y'all have enjoyed visiting with me. I miss my sister, of course, but she was doing something that she needed to do. So we will be back cooking. She'll be cooking Monday at her house. We'll be cooking here Tuesday and together, and then she'll be cooking at her house, and we'll be cooking at her house together. But she is going to do some clips while she's at Ladies Conference. There will not be events created for those because I'm not going. She'll be down there by herself, and she'll be just doing spontaneous clips. So make sure if you see her on live that you get on and give her some love, and make sure you share our videos. And thank you again so very much. God bless each one of you. We love y'all from the bottom of our heart, and we appreciate y'all commenting, sharing, watching our videos, and telling your friends about us. So, and liking our page. So, until next time, God bless. Be sure to show kindness to people. It doesn't cost anything to be kind, and there's enough sadness and enough rudeness and hatefulness in this world that people that confess to be Christians, we should be overshowering people with kindness, not just people you know, because sometimes it's the people that you don't know that you need to touch their heart too. So count your blessings, stay safe from the storms, and be sure to tune in the next time you see Mary live, and we'll see y'all again next week. Bye-bye, and God bless.